This is everything new in Siege X's 5v5 that will drop in Year 10 Season 2. Starting off with an absolute banger, we have weapon inspections. I am so glad this is coming to the game. You're also getting a sneak peek at what some of the new graphically updated maps look like. And the weapon inspections, check out your sexy charms, check out your sexy weapon skins, absolutely banging. And now this video is going to be chock-blocker full of everything new coming to Siege X. The next thing we're looking at is the destructible ingredients that have been added to the game. Here you can see a fire extinguisher. When that gets shot, it emits almost like a smoke grenade. If you're in the vicinity, you are going to get flashbang like this poor player with the super shorty does. So you don't want to be standing too close to those and holding an angle. The next big thing is beepers. They are going to be able to be disabled. So you might not be able to hit such a sneaky flank, but as you can hear here, no beeper going off as Sophia walks through. Warden giving you a perfect example of how to use these destructible ingredients to your advantage. And the next big one is these gas pipes. As you can see, the buck opening up top east shoots this gas pipe and it will emit out fire out the side of the gas pipe, which will do damage to anyone who walks through it. Once more, we're seeing this being used, the gas pipe here, and what it will do is it will shoot out fire, and then if it gets shot more, it will detonate on the floor almost like a Vulcan canister. Here's an example of that Vulcan canister effect, and also showing you that you can use Twitch drones, or you can use Maestro cams or gadgetry to detonate these as well. And here is the sort of damage that it does if you walk through the fire. Obviously, this is combined with the barbed wire, so probably doing a little bit of extra damage, but it's not somewhere you want to hang around, especially when it detonates. The next thing, advanced rappelling, and look at the speed of this Cali sprinting along on the rappel. You might get Ferrari swung. I'd be intrigued to see what that sounds like when you're inside hearing someone sprint up against the wall. And the big one, and the one that shocked me, rappelling round corners, baby. And the next thing that we're going to be looking at is how the pick and ban rework is coming into play. And now this is quite a big change and something that I am hugely excited for. I think everyone's been asking for a ban rework in ranked for a long time now. And this is basically how it's going to go. So before round one, you have the opportunity, if you're on the defense, to ban one attacker. And vice versa, if you're on the attack, you get the opportunity to ban one defender, I should say, before round one. And then what will happen is you play out your round, whoever wins, wins, and then it goes into the start of round two. And what this is adding is an extra dynamic to sort of figure out what advantage they're bringing the attackers. So say you've really struggled on the defense dealing with a Monty in round one. After round one has finished, you go back to the ban stage once more. So once you've gone back to the ban stage, you can identify, oh, we're going to go to this site. The Monty absolutely railed us in the last site. Loading into round two, let's quite simply get rid of that Monty so he's not going to be a problem to deal with anymore. And as you can see here, loading into round two on Clubhouse, you've got the opportunity to ban another attacker if you're a defender and ban another defender if you're an attacker. And I think the way this is going to work is it's really going to revolutionize tactical know-how in Rainbow Six Siege, knowing which the primary sites are and the order of the site rotations. For example, say you've just won in Clubhouse on CCTV and Cache. Likelihood is that you might be going down to the basement. So if you're on that attacking heart off, you might think, look, they're most likely going to go down to the basement. Why don't we ban the cage so they can't electrify any of these hatches? And then it's not something we need to worry about once we go into our attack. This video doesn't quite actually show it, but I would assume after you've done your 3 defensive rounds and your 3 attacking rounds, you switch back round and the bans would most likely be reset. So we're not going to end up with like 6 banned attackers and 6 banned defenders. And this is the big one. Veteran rewards. So this is almost like a new sort of black ice, which you'll get, I assume, if you played in 2015. This headgear for Sentry if you played in 2017. If you played in 2018, you get this skin for Cali. And then next, they don't actually have what years you would have maybe need to play in, but there's a Gone 6 skin. And then there's also going to be one more item, which is going to be for Flores' primary. Fantastic stuff, because I played since beta. The next thing we're looking at is what we're looking at here is how some of these new maps look. And I mean, it's almost, if you ever played the early Siege, we're going back to sort of that dynamic lighting sort of grittiness level, and you can see the fire extinguisher there. Those dynamic features are going to be littered throughout the maps as well, so keep an eye out. It'll be good to figure out where those are and how you can play around them. But look at the light coming through. The dynamic lighting for me really goes back to the early days of Siege, and the maps themselves look absolutely fantastic. At the moment, we're just taking a look around Border. When Siege X drops in year 10 season 2, there are going to be 3 reworked maps graphically. The other maps are planned to get updated, and they will be releasing as time goes on. But Border, Bank and Clubhouse are going to be the first 3 maps that will be dropping when Siege X drops. And for me, Bank looks stunning. Having played the 3 maps when I went out to Montreal in, I believe, November. So I played this on an even earlier build. So what would that have been? Almost 4 or 5 months ago. So I can assume it's only got even better to look at. And it's just the lighting for me that changes it entirely. It takes me back to the old days of Rainbow Six Siege, where you would break a barricade, you'd be looking outside, and you would almost be blinded by the light. Some people hated that. I also hated it at times. But a lot of the time I absolutely loved it, because it made it, you have that more sense of realism to the game with the dynamic lighting, the shadows, the sun all coming through. You can see that what was it, dappled sunlight coming in between those pillars there. And for me, Bank is the most stunning of them all. But if you have watched the Siege X reveal, you would see that in that sort of arena where it's been revealed, there's lots of features from Bank, from Border, from Clubhouse. Because I know that those are going to be the updated maps, it's a little bit of a teaser for people who are attending the event. Maybe they'll figure out, oh, that's why we've got Vault from Bank, we've got the bar from Clubhouse, we've got facets from Border there. So I wonder if anyone's figured that out, if they're there. But it honestly looks and feels like a different game on these new maps. And I think that's what's made me most excited for Siege X. Is it's not just new operators coming in, new dynamic features, new rappelling. It's the fact that the game is going to look entirely different. And as we slowly get all these maps released, it is just going to feel like a new game. I know they've said Siege X isn't Siege 2, because it isn't. It isn't whatsoever. It still holds those core fundamental values. It just is going to look so much better. And it's something that I really can't wait to get my hands on. And the next thing that we're going to be looking at is the audio rework, which is unreal. So I'll be quiet for a second whilst you listen. God, it's hard to stay quiet. I talk so much. But yeah, having played this build, the audio is just truly tremendous. I can't speak of it more highly. So often when I play now, I find it hard to sort of echolocate, almost like I'm about where the opposition are. But with that new update, it is tremendous. I promise you, when you play it, you'll love it. And this is a big change as well. The communication wheel. If you solo queue or you don't like using your mic, this is going to be a way for you to communicate with your teammates and give them all the information they need to know and what you want them to do. For me, this is an absolutely fantastic change, and one which I think is going to change the way people solo queue or people who don't have a mic. And that is everything that's coming new in Siege X in the 5v5 game mode. I hope you're as excited for it as I am, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.